Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Name's Dante. Today I am here to show you guys. This is mostly for beginners or intermediate people who are looking to, better their sound, or they have a new amp and they're like, oh, I want to know how to get a decent sound out of my amp, and that's exactly what this video is for. Hence the title of this video and what I'm doing in this video. So yeah, I'll just be focusing on like a modern metal, kind of like metalcore is kind of what I'll be going after today, because that's kind of what I'm used to in terms of playing and like what I'm used to in terms of dialing in tone. So that's pretty much if you're in the metalcore or just metal scene, kind of like not the stupidly heavy stuff, but also not nothing super like old school either. Well, I love the old school stuff, but we're focusing on, I guess, modern stuff. So basically, I'll run through the things of what you'll need in this video. The first thing you're going to need is the most important thing, is a guitar amp that has distortion in it. That already has like a distortion channel on it. You can technically get away with, like I guess a twin, Fender twin, and run a distortion pedal in front of it, or just run it real hot. But I mean, that's not what we're focusing on today. We're going to be focusing on, I guess. This really, I guess, not inexpensive, but amps that already have distortion on it. And this AV60 in this case, which is like a combo hybrid amp. So it's like part digital, part tube. I might do a review on that later. You can actually look up reviews. I'll leave a review up on top anyway, if you guys want to look at that. Secondly, you need your guitar. You need a guitar, preferably with humbuckers. You can get away with single coils, but that's a guitar with single coils in it are a different beast to tame in terms of dialing a tone. So I'm focusing primarily here on the Seymour Duncan JB humbucker and the bridge. We're going to be strictly focusing on bridge because most rhythm players use bridge pickup. So yeah, and then thirdly, something that will help. Obviously, it's not necessary, but I know I said I won't be using pedals for this one, but this for this video, it's an exception for this video. Okay. I'm using a Boss Super Overdrive. I'm kind of using it just to boost. I'll show you guys what I mean. For those of you who don't know what boosting an amp is, I'll show you guys what that does later in the video. But yes, and then basically also I think what's something people overlook a lot are picks. As you guys can see here, I'm using an absurdly thick pick. This pick is I believe it's the Ultima. Which is the pick shape from Purple Plectrum. It's a slightly smaller pick from what I'm used to from Purple Plectrum. Used to like this bigger in terms of surface area. This is just scaled down. It's a 9mm pick, so pretty thick. You don't have to use 9 mils. Use a pick thickness you're familiar with, or like doesn't feel out of place for you. Good recommendation, just out of the gate, something you can get at guitar stores, because this is like online only. You can only get these online. If you want to try picks out, Dunlop, they're like the golden standard in my opinion for basic, like good, not basic, but like standard picks you can go to and will sound good in almost practically any situation. So Dunlop, recommend those if you guys want to try something out. Purple Plectrum, definitely recommend these guys. They have smaller offerings like 5.5 and 6 mil picks if you guys don't want to do stupid thick like this. But picks is only part of this. If you guys want, I'll do pick review on these guys later. But anyway, that's the point. So yeah, basically just to run over what you guys need: guitar, decent pick, is overdrive or boost, which is optional, you don't need it, and another must is a guitar amp that has distortion built into it. Also, don't forget cable, because that's important. So first of all, I'm going to show you guys what the tone will be, what the tone will sound like, and then I'll go to overhead view, and then I'll show you guys overhead view how to go over an amp, dialing and everything. So here's what the amp sounds like. By the way, I'm just running through my camera audio. I'm not micing it or anything, just because I don't have the means to do that right now, but I will soon. So bear with me right now. So here's what the guitar amp sounds like. As I have it set up now, kind of what we'll be aiming after. So here we go. Here's what it sounds like. that. Obviously, strings are important. I forgot to mention, make sure you have bright strings or brand new strings. These are pretty old strings, so I mean you're not going to get as much vibrance, but make sure you have fresh strings, but this still applies. So let's go to overhead cam right now of the amp, and I'll show you guys how to dial in what I have with everything. Alright, so here we are. Not too sure. Sorry about the angle if it seems kind of off. I'm not able to get up 100% overhead angle. I'm just using a tripod right now. Not the best angle, I can't really tell. Just because my GoPro doesn't have the mirror on it, so I'm sadly unable to see what I'm doing. But I'll show you guys from left to right what is what. So obviously, at least on this particular amp, the AV60 from Vox, starting from left from right, you have your preamp circuit, so you can go anywhere from it's crystal clean all the way up to like a super high gain. So I'm currently on high gain 2, and then it runs from gain, and then from over here EQ wise it runs gain, treble, middle, bass, volume, and then power level. So let's start from everything at noon, at least in terms of EQ, with the overdrive off. And also this also has little switches by the valve on the valve staging, which I'll go over that later. Here's just everything at noon, all the valve staging off. Just turn that up just a touch. Now the sound's going to be a little different just based on where the GoPro is, but from what I'm hearing, stood back from a little bit. First things first is guitars are a mid-range present instrument, meaning where the guitar sits in terms of the EQ spectrum is mostly in the mid-range. Yes, you'll need the bass and treble, but not to the extent from what a lot of beginners think you'll need. At least what I thought. I thought you don't need. I always used to scoop the mids a bit, boost the low end, boost the high end, crank the gain all the way up, but that is not the right stuff, especially if you're planning on being in a band. You're going to have to cut through. So what I like to do is first start with the gain. I like to start with the gain, turn it all the way down, and then I'll chug until I get to a comfortable where it's not super gainy, but also not super anemic either, or like super bleh. So it's kind of a lot. Also, turning the gain up tends to compress everything too and brings up a lot of the unwanted mud. So I usually like to keep it below noon. From what I'm hearing, the gain tends to open up right around here, right around there. That's kind of where I hear the gain start to open up. When I mean open up is like when it starts to saturate a bit underneath the palm mutes, and the frequency range is right where it needs to be. Treble, I'll do the same thing. Do the same thing you did with the gain. Start kind of low, and when I hear it start to open up, I go past where it begins to open up. You guys will get it when you have an actual amp in the room. You'll hear when it opens up, and then you'll tweak within that range. So yeah, see how dark that sounds? You'll definitely want a bit of high end in your tone, so you just chug until you hear it open up. So right around there, I guess the 2.5 to 3 in terms of a clock. That's kind of where I hear it open up. Then I'll do the same thing with the mid-range. I'll start 0. You don't necessarily have to start at 0, but at least start with it at a lower stage, and then do the same thing. So you can maybe bring that's when you can hear it open up there. Same thing with the bass. Take it down good amount of the way. And you can hear there, it's just there's no oomph underneath the palm mutes, which is what you'll need. Why you want bass, but obviously you don't want a lot because you're gonna take over the bass and the kick drums and everything like that, especially when you're in the context of a metal band. So this chug. Yeah, it's too much bass, as you guys can hear there. I know what I was referring to just a second ago. That's way too much bottom end, especially in terms of a live context, because you'll be overpowering the bass, you'll be overpowering the kick drum and drown those out, and that's kind of important when, you know, it's in the studio playing live or just in general. It just drowns out all those lower frequencies needed from the other instruments. So right about there, but something's missing. I feel like there's a little bit something missing, and that's just where I'll mess around with the valve staging. Now this is referring to this amp. It may sound a bit different depending on your amp, but I turn the bright and fat switch on the preamp. So I'm just getting a bit more bottom end, a bit more the crispiness in the high end. Recto, I'll turn that on. Recto and bias, at least on this amp, kind of give it more of a modern voicing. So yeah, so you have more of a modern voicing on this. There we go. Just to take the bass back just a little bit because it was getting a little thumpy or a little thuddy. It's just blossoming a bit too much in the bottom end from what I could hear. But it's still missing something, yeah, it's still missing something, just a very light touch of something. One thing you can do, if you do not have an overdrive, but you do have, in terms of, just like this amp, has built-in effects, modulation, which is chorus, delay and reverb. Something I found that works really well, especially in terms of a rhythm setting, is to turn on the chorus, but not overdo it. Have it where it's barely audible, and it fills out the sonic space surrounding the guitar. So here's with modulation off. Oops, modulation off. Here's with it on. Yeah, I'm not sure how well that picks up through the actual camera. But it fills it out just the sonic space just a little bit, but then like I would be happy with that, but for what I want in terms of guitar tone, I need a boost, which is the overdrive, which I have here, which is the Boss SD1. Firstly, I'll show you guys how I have that set up, just so if you guys have a physical overdrive too. Here's how I have it set it up, which is pretty much the go-to. Level all the way up, gain all the way down, and I boost the tone just a little bit. Some guys usually just have it in the middle, but I usually like to boost the tone just a little bit because it's more of like a high mid or just high end, in general high end boost, and that just helps fill out the sonic space a bit more. Pretty much what it's acting as is a level boost, which in essence means it's giving the input of the amp more signal, and in terms it's hitting the front end of the amp, so like the preamp a lot more, and it's giving it just more ballsiness. You guys will understand when you hear it. It's kind of hard to describe, especially with my limited vocabulary and the whole scene. But here's with it off. Here's with it on. It's pretty much the best way I can describe it to people. It's like adding gain without adding gain, if that makes any sense. It saturates everything a bit more. So here's again with it off, with it on. So yeah, it gives it a lot more balls to it, if you know what I mean. Again, I do apologize if what I'm hearing is different from what you guys are hearing. I'm just going based off what's in the room, not what's off my GoPro here. Again, I apologize for not giving you a mic'd sound. I just don't have the funds to physically get myself what I need in order to do that right now. You know, the whole coronavirus thing is making it a bit difficult to work, obviously. Anyway, so that's how I dial in a metal sound. Again, all these can be swapped out for your tasting. Maybe you don't like the sound of this Vox. You can go ahead and, you know, maybe you're using a Boss Katana. That sounds great too. I've used that. I've gotten some great sounds out of that. I know that has a built-in overdrive in it too, built-in chorus. You can use that to get the same sounds without having to buy a pedal. Or maybe you have something else, like maybe, I don't know, like maybe the Vox MVXT 150, I believe is what it is. That's what I heard was really well from what I've heard, but that could use a boost. There's a lot of great options out there in terms of inexpensive bass amps. I'm doing this for like beginners. Maybe they got like what I said, a Boss Katana. Maybe you have this, or maybe you have another form of a mini amp, or maybe like a practice amp or something, or a combo like this is. This sounds great, by the way. Definitely recommend getting this. But this is how you go about dialing in a modern six-string sound. Obviously, it's gonna be different with each guitar. You know, maybe some guitars have a lot more mid-range than other guitars. Maybe certain guitar amps maybe have a bit more balls to it. Maybe a less balls, so you're gonna have to set it up differently, set your gain differently, set everything up differently. Obviously, some amps come with a presence and resonance. This one doesn't. I guess that's pretty much what the Bright and Fat does. Adds presence and all that good stuff that presence and resonance does. Each amp is different. Just mess around with all the tips I gave to you here in mind, and you know, have fun dialing in a metal sound once you get what you like. Remember, you can either write it down, remember it, or take a picture of it. I just remember it because I usually remember. Boost the mids a good amount, boost the high end a bit, cut the bass a good amount ish. Not too much gain coming from the amp. Make sure you have a high gain amp too. So not a lot of gain, but then also boost it with an overdrive, and that's pretty much it. Also remember, new strings also make a huge difference. These strings are a few months old, so I mean it's not the best sound, but new strings make a big difference in terms of tone. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Keep all those in mind. Just remember, guitar with a humbucker. You know, lower tunings. You don't have to be in lower tunings, but if you're going to want a modern stuff, just follow what I have here in terms of EQ, overdrive, and you guys should be doing all right. So that's pretty much it. If you guys want any more tutorials, let me know. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications to be notified when I upload more videos, which I'm planning on uploading some more stuff soon under quarantine, and whenever this quarantine ends, I'll be doing a lot more stuff with my band, P.O.W. Follow us on Instagram. Link is in the description. Anyway, with that self-promotion out of the way, I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully soon. So yeah, peace out. See you guys next time.